The first thing I'll talk about, since this is a head coaching video, is the situation a lot of small schools, almost all small schools, have to deal with, unless you're at a private school, is you're limited by the people in your area as to what kind of help you'll get. And that's the same help in the youth and junior high and high school, because in a small area there's only so many people that are willing to help, that are able to help. And that's not even doesn't account for if they're knowledgeable or not. At Crawford County, I actually had a paid position I never could fill in 2 years because no one was just willing to do it. So it is difficult. So to start with the youth, I love coaching the youth football. I think it's so much fun. I love seeing the little kids out there, and they look like little bobbleheads with their helmets on, and so I think that's something that's pretty important to me, is the youth. And what I had done at Crawford County, because there we basically, we had dads that were just willing to help. So, but most of them didn't have any playing knowledge themselves, never done anything. So what I ended up doing through the winter time was we would meet together in the office, and I would video our meetings, and we would share those later on with the guys, so they had that material, and I would go over everything, and we would do different topics. Also, I would share drill work videos with the coaches that we had done, just so they have some kind of knowledge on what I want you to do in practice and what your practice should look like. And I would spend a lot of time with the coaches even during the season. I remember one time I had the youth president, me and him met in his insurance office. I thought it was going to be a real quick thing. I thought he had a couple questions. I was there about 2.5 hours. But you definitely get into some of that. But I think it's important to make sure that there's a definite correlation between what's being taught at the youth to get them prepared for junior high, and to get the junior high kids prepared for high school. So what I would like to see done here is, make sure that all the drills being taught, the verbiage and the drills, the drill work, everything is what's being taught in high school, because you're wanting to prepare those kids for junior high and then into high school, obviously. Make sure that offensively, give them a series of things to run in 3rd and 4th grade. Give them a series to run in 5th grade, give them a series to run in 6th grade. That way they're building on what you want to do offensively. Defensively, the league kind of dictates what you can do, obviously. So that's kind of the rules. There are the rules. You have to work on that, once they get out of it. But it's very important to make sure that their youth football experience is good, because that's 40% of the entire time they're going to be playing football at Springs Valley is in the youth. That's a huge part of their experience. And if they don't have that base there, they're going to struggle. They're just going to be behind. So I think that's very important. And, I coached Jackson in youth going through. I coached Quinn in youth this year. I intend to keep coaching youth. My daughter, she's in preschool. She thinks she's going to play football, and if she does, I'm sure I'll be around to help. I enjoy it a lot, and you got to make time to do it, to make sure that you know the kids and they know you, and that things are being taught the way you want it to be done. And then leaving youth, going into junior high, this is something I had done, and I believe I would continue to do it. I thought it worked out very well for us. Was the junior high would practice with the high school. And the reason I did that, one, I wanted to make sure our drill work was all the same. I wanted to make sure the teaching was consistent throughout the whole program. And it helped too to have, those junior high coaches would come to high school practice, and they were in charge of a group, just like my junior high coach was my running backs coach. He had the junior high and high school running backs, but it was important to be able to break up into more specialized groups, and we were able to do it that way. And I thought it worked out very well. I've had other coaches even I've talked to, I kind of explained to them what I did, and they liked it. And at small schools, I really think it's the way to go. Now, in saying that, I always made sure, because it sounds like, what are you doing practicing with junior high kids? There was no contact, obviously. I made sure that the junior high wore one color jersey and the high school wore another color jersey to make sure there was no contact, because that's not what you want. But we just want to make sure the teaching, the drill work, all that stuff was the same. And I would probably do my best to make sure that, we continue that. And then going into high school, those coaches there, to continue to develop them, you want to make sure you're not stagnant. I enjoy going to coaching clinics. Some of the clinics, you got to be careful, are not always great when dealing with a small school setting. So you got to be careful which ones you go to. Probably the best thing to do to continue to learn as a coach is to go learn from other coaches. I know when Coach Ballsmeyer is at Paoli, I spent a couple different days with him. Me and Coach Wolford went one day, me and Coach Scheller went another day and spent some time with him, and that was always good. I believe, I know Brian well enough, I could call him or email him right now, and I believe he would help. And the same thing with, Coach Buning in Southridge High School. One day over spring break a couple years ago, it was me and the entire Southridge staff and the Jennings County staff. For some reason, that was kind of strange, but I got to know all those guys a little bit, and I spent time talking with them, and they talked to me about different things because we did a lot of similar stuff. Last year, actually at 7:45 in the morning, the day after Christmas, I was at North Knox High School with Coach Chambers. I think Josh does a really good job. I think he's very underrated because he's got a tough job there as well, and he's really done a nice job. Took a little bit of time, but he's really done a good job. But anyway, I believe to continue to learn, you got to make sure you are willing to go learn from other coaches who do a nice job too, and in turn, you kind of build those networking things. I've had Coach Buning before they played Paoli in the regional a couple years ago. He emailed me about Paoli, what we did defensively, because actually what we did worked really well. Didn't show up on the scoreboard, but it worked really well, and he recognized that and wanted to know actually what we did. So, when you go back and forth with these guys, it just helps, makes you a better coach. And again, the networking is always important. So, continue to develop your coaches, teach the teachers. That's always an important thing when coaching.